Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namaskaram, everyone. So, in this process of self-realization, and not only realizing this self, but at the same moment, I want to realize this entire universe, each and every fundamental building blocks of this universe. What is behind? How this universe is emerged from nothing? Is this universe is real, or is just some illusion, as Shankaracharya already discussed in Uttar Mimamsa? So each and every realization is very unique in one sense, because every individual are walking with their own precondition, with their own karma sanskara, with their own mental impression. But when they are moving on this path of realization, slowly, all impurities are faded apart, and only one that is behind everything is going to be realized. So same way, all the six darshana, they went even by their own way, but at the end, at the top, all six darshana are going to meet at the same junction point. One thing is common in them, that they all believe that this Vedas, this foundation, these building blocks of this reality, the knowledge, ultimate wisdom of Vedas, they are approving and giving authority that whatever we are realizing is already been written in Vedas. But there are other scholars who haven't went through this very traditional way of learning, that they are not going to ashrama and learning for 25 years these Vedas and Upanishads and all other darshanas, and they will start their own path without looking of the scriptures. And that is also fine, because truth is not depending on any scriptures also. Truth can be realized within aparokshanubhuti, direct experience of truth with my own self. No external tools are needed. That is what Veda are also saying. So this scholar, these yogis and jnanis, they went by their own way without looking of the source and not giving any authority. This is my life, and I want to realize what this life is all about. What should be my goal? What are these basic principles of this life? How I should live my own life? What are their ethics? What are their building components? Everything I want to realize without wearing this external support of Vedas or any other authorities. I want to see this truth with my own naked eyes without any prejudice, because if I'm going to read something, that impression is also going to come on my mind. So that is why I want to keep all aside. I want to be like empty slate and start my journey. So there are many scholars have started their journey individually with their own willpower. So let's learn from there and see what they are explaining to us. So let me share. This darshana, unorthodox darshana, is also called as a Nastik darshana. Nastika means the non-believers of Ishvara. So we have theism and atheism. So this Nastika is going to become as a atheism. So let's learn this Darshana step by step. So in Indian philosophy, Indian Darshana, we know there are two parts. One that is Astika Theism Darshana, who are believer of Vedas. Core Vedic darshanas we already discussed about Mimamsa darshana, either Purva or Uttar Mimamsa. That okay, everything and all the things in Vedas we are going to explore and realize. So they have very solid foundation and influence by Vedas. Others said, okay, we have authority. We know that truth is there in Vedas, but we have our own individual identity. We want to go by our own instinct. So that will be two pair will be Yoga and Sankhya. Another pair is Nyaya and Vaiseshika. Both we have learned so far. Now we are moving on this right part of Nastik Darshana. This Nastika Darshana is also going to be divided in two parts. One is going to become so hardcore reverse process because there are so much influence of Vedas and people become so much in depth of this Vedic practices and rituals and karma kandas and yajnas, and there are so many impurities are also inside in a very, very deep root of human psychology, that without this Vedas, without that rituals, without this Swarga, without this higher dimensional self, we cannot live our life. But this life is there. So I want to live my life according to my own will. I don't want anyone else to tell me what to do. So this type of mentality is also building up, and that way we have this all Lokayatana. Lokayatana means more focus on living at the moment, living with all material possession, living with happiness wherever and whenever we acquire. That's their single most goal of living. We haven't seen what is going to happen after death. We haven't seen what is Swargas and all other higher dimensional. What is right now in front of me? That is my truth. That is my reality. And I am going to experience that truth only. I don't want something that is not there. This means I cannot directly experience. So that Lokayatana philosophy is also taking place. And on another side, there are very highly qualified and very highly intensified people are also coming on this planet Earth. They have their own uniqueness, unique flavor of realization of self, unique eyes that no one have ever think about. There are some unique philosophies and darshanas and theories that are maybe missing in our traditional philosophy. So they are putting these pieces together. It's software we have Jainism and Buddhism. So let's learn these three different types of darshanas: Nastik darshan, atheism. First darshana that we are going to look into is Charvak Darshana, Lokayatana or Charvak Darshana. Charvak Darshana name coming from this author named Charvaka. Because we know this is very individual experience of this universe and self within and outside. So this Darshana, whatever they have realized, that name of Darshana is also given the same name of Charvak Darshana. Charvak, the one who chews, Charva, always chewing and chewing and chewing and doing this analyzing and understanding deeper and deeper and deeper. So this type of people is called as a Charvaka. The name of Charvak that given to this person who always chew. Yavajjivet sukham jivet runam kritva घृतं पिबेद भस्मीभूतस्य dehasya Punaragamanam Kutam. It's very popular shloka of Charvak philosophy that everyone is aware of this shloka of have this credit, have this loans, have this runam, and enjoy this life in this moment. Wherever we are living, just live with happiness and enjoyment. Forget about future. Just focus right now. Because after this physical body, no one knows what is going to happen. So why worry? Why do these rituals and yajnas to get more better benefit after your life, after your death? Your life is right now in this moment. And just focusing on future, you are not living your life at this moment that is happening. So if always you have tendency to move forward, you are not going to be in present moment. So let's come back to present moment. So that is also very central message of Charvaka. One life and enjoyment is the only purpose. Sukham jivet. Happiness is my single most purpose. So in Charvaka, we have ethics, we have metaphysics, we have rituals and epistemology. Every darshana, we have these fundamental building blocks. Let's see what Charvaka is putting together. What type of ethics, philosophy he is putting together, how he is realizing this universe as a metaphysical terminology, and is there any rituals that we need to follow Charvak Darshana? And we have this epistemology of Charvaka. So rituals is always sidelined. It's only focusing on there are some ethics, metaphysics, and epistemology. What are my ethics according to Charvaka? Enjoy this life because this is the only one you will ever have. That will be my first ethics. Charvaka, the one who choose Charva. Only one life, enjoy with full zest and prosperity. One is told to read Vedas to hide one's own weaknesses because you are not focusing on your own self, because you don't want to read your own life. You don't want to know your own life. So Veda is not some scripture somewhere else. Veda is within you. So don't go on the ritual sites of Vedas and waste your entire life to live someone else's life, to follow someone else's ethics. You can create your own ethics. Just enjoy the company of women and drink wine in moderation. Enjoy yourself. You have this sense organ. Just enjoy. And do not waste money on this pilgrimage tour hoping for some imaginary blessings that some gurus and some monk and some master will come and will going to say tathastu and you are going to enlighten. Focus on your own life with your own self. No one can able to help you out in this life. So just focus whatever you have right now and live as there is no tomorrow. There is no another life. Whatever is given to you, just focus on this. Other I said, okay, why I should enjoy my life? I will do a next life and tomorrow never comes and we cannot able to enjoy our own self. Always spreading ourselves to this all pilgrimage and reading Vedas for 25 years, 30 years, and 50 years, and doing all this sacrifice. And there is no enjoyment. But enjoyment, this blissfulness, ananda is paramasukham. So that is our ethics of Charvaka. And that is what we are seeing right now, this all material world, everyone living the same ethics. They believing, they are knowing or unknowingly. They are following this darshana of Charvaka. And every darshana will have pros and cons. So this material world, we are seeing this all waste from where this darshana philosophy is coming. It's Charvaka ethics. Enjoy this life because this is the only one. That's the only one life you will ever have. Metaphysics. Charvaka, the one who says very sweet things to corrupt innocent mind. So this type of people, this philosophy is saying some good things in front of you. Inside they have some other intention also. Metaphysical terminology of Charvaka, there is no next world, only this one. And there is no afterlife, no reincarnation. And when I'm saying this self and Atma and consciousness, what is that? Metaphysical terminology of Charvaka, whatever we have seen in other darshan. They said, okay, we have jivas and we have Atma and this is property. So, no, there is no Atma. This, if even that you are saying if there is Atma or self, that is your physical body because that's the only reality you have right now. That is what you are going to realize. So the self is nothing but this body is Charvaka metaphysics. Ultimate reality of metaphysical terminology, ultimate reality is only matter. There is no other dimensions of energy or other dimension of consciousness. Just everything is matter and matter. Everything is material. That is why it's called as a material dharma, materialistic way of living. Life and consciousness are same, indivisible. Body gone, consciousness also gone. So even some people, you are talking about Chaitanyam and consciousness. Even if we shall believe that, okay, there is consciousness, but that consciousness is also there till we have this physical body. Okay, we are believing everything is matter. Even though we feel there are consciousness, energy dimension, higher dimension, that is also depending on your physical body. If you don't have physical body, you will not have consciousness. So this consciousness, or we call as a life force, are depending on your material physical body. That is metaphysics of Charvaka. Dehavada, they call as a Dehavada. We have different Vadas, we have school that, okay, this is Satkarya Vada. That, okay, we have Satkarya, cause and effect. Every effect has that ultimate cause within themselves. Unchangeable cause is you are going to find in every effect, Sankhya Darshana. So every Darshana have this Vada, their school of philosophy and thought. So they are known, Charvaka, as a Dehavadi. But okay, this is material, this is Deha, this is body. So body is consciousness, body is Atma. Everything is this physical body, nothing else. Just focus on your physical body. Do exercise, do running and jogging, eat properly, do yoga, and everything only for physical body. If you have good physical body, everything else, all consciousness, life, and everything will come later on. So don't do something for Atmas and consciousness that you have or no one ever have realized in as their direct experience. So focus whatever you can able to see and experience. Dehavada. Epistemology. Charvaka the Rakshasa who told the truth, even though they are Rakshasa, even though they have devil minds, even though they want to enjoy themselves, and not a single second they want to sacrifice for someone else. But on some point, they are right. Epistemology, any knowledge gained through inferences cannot be considered permanently valid, because it can always be negated through new informations. So this pratyaksha, anumana, agam, and shabda pramana, all this pramana, they are believing only pratyaksha pramana that I can able to experience with sense organs. Anumana pramana, inferences, I don't want to believe, because there are only some theories, and all theories are changing. That okay, you are saying that if whenever there is a smoke, there should be some fire. But that establishment relationship between smoke and fire is also not permanent. That there are some cases without fire, there are some smokes out of nowhere from this air element, from this water element, the smokes are created. There is no element of fire. So that correlation and inferences pramana, we are not going to be accepted, because always are changing and changing. So even though 99.99% they are valid, but 0.001% they fail. And all darshanas are accepting that inferences are not 100% sure. Then why I should waste my time? Inferences of fire from smoke can be valid only when it is established that all cases of smoke are fire, and we cannot. Empirical observation trump inferences, and knowledge gained through direct sense perception, that's the only realization experience we are going to trust. So Charvaka epistemology, inferences, pramana, or shabda pramana, or whatever that pramana that we have learned in Nyaya, Vaiseshik, Sankhya, Yoga, they said, okay, keep it aside. Only one pramana, pratyaksha pramana, we are going to accept under Charvak epistemology. That is why even though Rakshasas, but they told truth, relative truth, momentum, vyavaharik satya, on social dimension, whatever is there, we are accepting. Something else that we cannot realize by our sense organ, we will not wasting our time. Charvaka epistemology. Critics accuse that Charvaka of denying the utility of inferences. So inferences presuppose a universal relation vyapti between middle term means linga and lingi, that a smoka, that we are going to identify that a fire, how we are going to identify by that smoke effect, and this major term as a sadhya એટલે કે fire. But this vyapti is an undue assumption. No source of valid knowledge is going to be guaranteed. So Charvaka do not deny the utility of inferences drawn from empirical observation in material world. Any inferences that involves metaphysics is useless by Charvak epistemology. So these inferences, Anumana Pramanas and all other Pramanas are useless under Charvak epistemology. One good things we can put as a, they are using some scientific methods. Whatever science are doing, the same Charvakas, people, Darshanas are also putting together as a two building blocks, two foundational pillars. The idea of falsification and empiricism means logic. So these falsifications and logic, both methods, both scientific method they are using under this darshana. That is why, see, that is, it's a full darshana. It's not something is useless. Otherwise, we cannot put under this category of darshana. Someone has realized this entire universe in this moment right now, that everything is physics, everything is science, everything is material when I am opening my eyes. And that is realization. But we haven't went deep down of entire truth. So Charvaka has completed this journey. So that is why we are learning. There are some pros, there are some difficulties. But let's focus of this learning. Something, that missing link we may find that we haven't seen till now. So this Charvaka epistemology anticipates both pillar of scientific methods of falsifications and logical. It is when we said when they are coming into picture. So school of Charvaka means people who are doing these sweet talks or Lokayatana Vada is before this Buddhas and Mahavira. One of the oldest Nastik Darshana that we are going to learn as a Charvak Darshana. So it's a materialistic school of 6th century. Pramanas under Charvak Darshana. So this Pramanas essential mean of arriving at valid knowledge, that is called as a Prama. What you want to realize, that is called Prama, means that object that is desirable. It's called my Prameya. And I, as a sadhak, I as explorer, I am Pramata. So Pramanas are Pratyaksh, direct perception, Anumana and Shabda. So the value of the first two of these Pramana is well recognized by most school, but the third verbal is more in a Sankhya, Nyaya philosophy we are using. So in this Charvaka accepted one and only the direct perception, Pratyaksha Pramana, through the sense organ as the only mean of valid knowledge, and as the only type of knowledge that could be verified by all others. It's a universal truth. Anumana is not a universal truth. Shabda Pramana is not universal truth for them. So this regard only that which is an object of direct perception and cast behind your back whatever is beyond the reach of your senses. So this shloka in a Charvak Darshana. Pramana is going to be again classified in savikalpa and nirvikalpa, judgmental and non-judgmental. So both pramanas is accepted as a mean of immediate source of cognition. Verbal testimony is again is rejected by Charvak Darshanas. Inference is also not going to be accepted under Charvaka. So in the absence of any reliable means if we don't have that pramana, that direct perception, Charvaka said that, okay, we cannot accept this, either the soul or some god or even the other world as a real. In other words, how could we establish a relation when the factors on either side of this equation happen to be unknown quantity? So it's giving this very scientific way of understanding this universe, that okay, something is there but we cannot able to realize. So that equation that we want to target as a prameya, we want to establish as a truth, but it's not in our hand. We cannot realize, means not, no one as a human can able to realize that truth, that unknown quantities. That we are very scientific people, we are not going to use these lots of assumption. Idea of a soul in Charvaka Darshana. So since Charvaka admitted only the immediate evidence of sense, it's only accepting these elements that are Panch Mahabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, and denied the fifth, Akasha, because space, you cannot realize space. So that you can, as a direct perception, you cannot realize this space. Only out of Panch Mahabhuta, only four Bhuta, four fundamental elements that are my Pratyaksha Pramana. I can able to see and realize fire, water, and air element. And this Shabda, nothing else. So these four Mahabhutas, fundamental elements, are accepted. So refuse to accept the idea of soul or Atman as a surviving entity for the reason their existence cannot be perceived. It's not anyway influencing my way of life. So there is no soul apart from this physical body. Tam jivam tam shariram. That jivam, that Atman is this body, which is composed of four elements only, bhutas. The body is material. Consciousness is just a byproduct of material. Bhute bhya chaitanya bhavati. Bhute bhya. From these bhutas, this material compositions of four different types of material, somewhere this consciousness are coming into existence. And once we don't have this bhuta, once we don't have this physical body, consciousness is also not there. In the same way, this science is also focusing on the same. This consciousness is coming out of this material. Before there will be consciousness, and that consciousness is going to create some material universe, they are not accepting. So when we are saying there's a Big Bang theory, so in Big Bang theory of how universe come into existence, there are everything is just matter, and because of this Sanghata and because they are coming together, somewhere this consciousness is coming. We have this brain as ultimate reality. Out of this brain, this physical reality controlling faculty, this mind and this consciousness are coming. But if there is a no brain, there will be no consciousness, there will be no thinking. So bhutebhyah chaitanya bhavati. So consciousness is a property of the body. There is no evidence for any soul that is distinct from this body. The soul is not different from the body, distinguished by attributes of consciousness. And so, okay, when you are said consciousness, Chaitanyam, what is consciousness according to Charvaka? So, Bhuta Chaitanya Vada, we have that Dehavada, that focusing only on this physical body, nothing else. Another Vada, another school, and another theory in Charvaka is called as a Bhuta Chaitanya Vada. What is this Bhuta Chaitanya Vada? The Charvaka argued that soul or consciousness is just a concoction of this physical element of the body, and it perishes when the body withers away or when body is no longer supportive. They put forward the analogy of intoxication produced by liquors, and there are lots of great theories inside this Bhuta Chaitanyavad that okay, this liquor is produced by combinations of various ingredients, but each of which by itself does not possess the property of inducing these intoxications. All this, if you are just spreading out that okay, this is specific vegetables and this is something medicines, and when we are putting together with this water and putting for some time, and then after this end product as liquor is coming into existence. But if you are taking each and every building blocks, there is no such property that giving this intoxication. So in a reverse way, intoxication, in a reverse way, we have consciousness, we have Chaitanya or Chaitanya. So when these material things can take your Chaitanyam, oh, I don't have consciousness, what I have done on that night. I was intoxicated. So by just giving some medicine, by giving some physical substances, can overpower your consciousness. That is what is going to be proved. This anesthesian people, they say, okay, my consciousness is higher than this material. Then some anesthesia, they are giving some physical instances and they are taking away your consciousness. So the same way, whatever is taking your consciousness out, the same they are going to put inside. So this material substance is foundation of your consciousness or non-consciousness. Bhuta and Chaitanya. So Bhuta is foundation of Chaitanya, consciousness. If there is no Bhuta, there is no Chaitanya. So Chaitanya is just byproduct of Bhuta. This is Bhuta Chaitanya Vada, and he's putting all this evidence and Nyaya philosophy and all these examples and proving his point on scientific evidence based Charvak Darshana. In addition, also Charvak put forward the following arguments for not accepting consciousness as an integral part of this body. Say if consciousness is just a property of a body, it should then be essential. Okay, that okay, this is part, this is my hand, this my limbs, and they are integral and very fundamental building blocks of physical body. Same, for example, consciousness, Chaitanyam is also part of this physical body, in which case it should never be separated from that body, if that is very integral, embodied part. But it is not always so. For in swoon or in a dreamless sleep, the body is becoming unconscious. So sometime we have this consciousness, sometime we don't have that consciousness. And that moment also we are living. Every day we are going to sleep. There is no consciousness, but still we are living. So that is also not part of this body. In case of consciousness is incidental, accidental, it indicates that another agency is at work. that is producing this consciousness and uses this body, and therefore consciousness cannot be ascribed to this part of the body also. It's just a byproduct. It's just happening. It's happen and non-happen. Either you have this consciousness and you are seeing this world as a reality, and you have no consciousness and you are into sleep. But that one and only thing that is always there is your physical body, wherever you are. So that is your ultimate reality. So it's giving this different examples of this consciousness, means Deha Chaitanya Vada. No need for a God. So when someone is asking what is God, how many gods are there, is there an Ishvara, someone is creator of this universe, denies. Savabhavam Jagatam Karanam Ahu. The evolution is caused by only and Swabhava. This Swabhavam Jagataha Karanam Ahu. Karanasya of Jagata is Swabhava. So he said Charvaka did not find need for a god. They said Swabhava. This evolution is caused by only and only these natural laws, this Swabhava, inheritance of nature, and there is no need to look for any cause beyond nature. Nature is ultimate reality, that what we are saying, this bounding, this law of gravitations and law of velocity and law of all these physical laws. That's the ultimate laws of nature. Beyond nature, nimitta matra. So, swabhavam jagataha karanam. Cause of this universe is what? Swabhava, natural laws. So, no need for God. Na parameshwara asti kaschit. There is no Parameshwara. No Ishvara, no Parameshwara. Why do you bring in a God here? Neither God nor any other explanation is needed. There is no God. So he's putting all these theories. He pointed out that milk flows from udder of the mother cow naturally. That is Swabhava, to nourish its infant, the grass and herbs and waters. It's turn and transform into milk. So these are only nimitta karanas, according to their own natural laws, and that is of because of this swabhava hetu. This cow, this milk is going to be produced. This is milk is like life. So how this life is produced? So same this milk and this cow, and what is nimitta karana? Their kids, their children. Because of them, this milk is coming. So because of us, this life is there. Swabhavik, very natural. So not someone else is sitting and said, okay, eat this all grass and all other things and chew and all this transformation, do proper digestions, and then taking out this milk. It's everything happening just as a natural law of nature. No other influencing faculty is coming into this picture. So Parameshwara na Parameshwara asti kanchit. So they also denied the concept of God as a creator also. So they said God is a creator is only an assumption, and it's a very, very bad assumption. So they argue that if the creation come about because of desire, they said, okay, I want to do something as a creator. He must then be wanted and inadequate in several aspects. How could anyone be God if he is deficiencies are indeed countless. He has so much desires and wish. So when this wish is coming, when these intentions are coming, if you are in Purna Bhava, everything is there within yourself. That is what you are giving definition of God, Ishvara. Klesha karma vipakashayar apara mrishtaha purusha visesha iti Ishvara. It's everything is there. If you have everything, you are satisfied, contemplated, then not a single thought should come. I have all cars and all material possessions and everything, whatever anyone has dream about. If everything is given, whatever is possible or not possible, everything is there as a Ishvara, Purusha Vishesha, then why he has this intention? Why he want to do something more? So that means he is not satisfied. So it's not Purna. So either way you are going to be wrong. So either your Ishwar is not 100% purest form. That is why he or she or it needs to add something on. So both way is denying this faculty of God. Swabhavavada. Suffering. What is there in suffering in this life? Because in a Yoga Darshanas and in Sankhya Darshanas and all the Darshana, we have these realizations of suffering and pain and all other explanation is given. So what this Charvaka are putting in front of us, because there are say, three types of dukkhas, three types of suffering according to Sankhya Darshana. For Bodha, Sarvam Dukkham. In Yoga Darshana also we have same, in Uttar Mimamsa, everywhere we have this suffering. So let's see what Charvaka is putting together. The Charvaka took a very interesting position on pain or suffering in life. They admitted that pain is a fact of life. Okay, we accepting pain is there. But they remark that so be it is. Okay, pain is there, then okay, yes, surely is a pain. I have this physical pain, I have pain in my neck, and I have pain in my stomach. Okay, I'm accepting. But what is more important for me is there is a pleasure also. I don't want to focus on pain. Pain will be always there. So there is a pleasure too in a life, and what is matter to me? Pleasure. So I am going after pleasure. And in case that pursuit of happiness and pleasure involves some pain, I am going to take as a part of this process. No gain without any pain. So whatever I want to be successful, I want to become happiest person on this earth, there are some pains. And we are accepting that reality. Okay, if I want to be successful, there are some failures also. If I want to be happy, there are some sorrow moment, there are some painful moment is also there. But remember, at the end, there is a pleasure. After all this painful experience, at the part of process, there is happiness. I'm working day and night, 10 hours and 12 hours. That painful experience is there. But so what? I'm not focusing. What I'm focusing? Happiness. And that is why my motivation of this life. So this Charvaka are accepting pain and suffering is real, because as a Dehavada, that okay, this physical body is creating this painful experience, but we are accepting as part of process. So they explain there are maybe pain in life, but that is no good reason to just deny ourselves the pleasures. Nobody cast away the grain because of this byproduct of husk. The berries of paddy rich with the finest white grain, what man seeking his true interest would fling away because covered with husk and dust. So that what this Charvaka giving this example is just a byproduct. My main product, what is my goal of life? Happiness. If there are some pain in part of process, why you are going to forget about chasing and pursuit of happiness? No. Same way you want this grain, but there are some husks, there are some byproducts, so you don't taking care of that. Just forget, focus on your main product, that is happiness, enjoyment. That is ultimate goal of my life. or some painful experience I have, oh, everything is suffering, everything is suffering, I don't want to live this life. This is suicidal tendency. What are you doing? You have this life given to you, and perfect balance of pleasure and pain, day and night, day and just enjoy this game. Enjoy this game. So it said, I don't try to secure some freedom from pain, but strive to manage within it. It said, every man must make the best of a bad bargain and enjoy himself as long as he lives. While life is yours, live joyously. None can escape death's searching eyes. Death is inevitable. So when once this frame of ours they burn, how shall it ever again return? Just whatever time is given to you, just enjoy. And this is my ultimate goal of Charvaka, pleasure. Forget about suffering. What is pleasure? What is enjoyment? What is happiness? What is ananda? What is blissfulness? And this is well known verse of pleasure in this life. Yavat jivam sukham jive. Live with happiness. That is my purpose. Even though for that enjoyment and happiness you want to do any other bad things, that is also fine, as long as you are happy. Don't try to make others happy. You cannot make others people happy. You can only make yourself happy. So live for yourself. Uplift yourself. Be happy. Everything else will come later on. Forget about future, what is going to be happen. So in this Charva scheme of thing, the pleasure in itself and for itself is the only and only good thing in this life. Everything else, all this ethics, I need to be truthful and I need to do this sevas and volunteer self and I need to do this puja and all. Forget about everything. Sukhavada, 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 only happiness, that theory of happiness and self-happiness. That is what we are seeing in Western world, that and right now here, everywhere. Sukhavada, self-centered life. I want to be happy with any cost. Even I need to kill someone for my own happiness, I can able to do. Because even if I kill someone, what is going to be happen? Nothing is going to be happen. Everyone is going to be die. So to survive myself, whatever time is given to me, I'm going to be happy each and every moment. I have this 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, this 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 days in this moment. I want to live in this moment in cost of everything else. To get in happiness and pleasure is ultimate goal of my life, nothing else. So the wise man should squeeze the maximum pleasure out of this life. He should not let go of present pleasure in the hope of some future gain. Live in this moment. That is what we call as a wise man. That is Sukhavada, is also theory, very popular theory given by Charvak Darshana. Yavat jivam sukham jivet runam kritva dhritam pibet भस्मी भूतस्य देहस्य punaragaman kutaha. So let's sum up this Charvaka Darshana. So Charvaka school exhibited a number of admirable features. It tried to be very rational, very clear-headed, very bold and angry in putting down all these superstitions, all these meaningless rituals and exploitations and intellectual dishonesty. It also employed very strong and forceful logic and language for the bringing into a very thorough positivism in your life. So that positivism, live for happiness. Don't focus on that pain, that suffering, that is suicidal condition. Whatever you are going to focus on, if you are say that okay, there is suffering, and you are always thinking about suffering, then more suffering is going to become as a part of process, law of attraction. So focus on positivism. What good things you have. Forget about pain. It's just a byproduct. It's storm that shook the old world of these dogmas of rights and Socrates and Kuhn's serious rethinking of these orthodox circles. This orthodox circle, yes, you are somewhere, you are right. You're doing these rituals to gain these positions on future. But that position we can have right now. So it's all everyone to clean up centuries or cowbell the cluttered human mind and to think free and to think bold that I am not fearful of your God. Whatever your God, just keep that God within yourself. I am my own God. I am creator of my own happiness and sorrow. I am God. I don't need any external faculty. That boldness is coming in Charvaka, this worldly life. But there are some cons because when you are become so much self-centric and not going to care of others, that chaos, when we are living in a social dimension, there are lots of issues are going to become. So according to Charvaka, the pleasure in this life, because this school is has flip side, it seems to lack of sense of higher vision and ideal to inspire more and more generation to come. How you are going to inspire? So just the pleasure in this life and that of individual is the most important thing. I have my personal space. This is the most precious things in my life that one should care about. Charvak, I fear, took an extreme position on that individualistic pleasure. How about, okay, we agree that positivism is required. You have this pleasureful activity, happiness, but that is individualist. What is as a whole? I want to be happy, but that same choice, if my family member is becoming unhappy, do you have any darshan or philosophy how we have this happiness for entire family? Do you have any school of thought that happiness for entire countries, happiness for entire universe? That universality is missing. So that position of very extreme individualistic, and we are seeing this side effect of that right now. What materialistic, everyone is just running after this money and this possession and possession and possession. What is happening? There are lots of quarrels within individual to individual, no ethics. How? No one is going to trust no one. Are you going to be truthful? Are you believing in any ethics? No. No yama, no niyamas, nothing, no God. So they are like animals in this human skills who are only chasing this individual temporary sukham, happiness, nothing else. So that problem is coming so deep right now. We are going to see that what that lack of that vision of social consciousness. So therefore, in a world according to Charvaka, one's pleasure and comfort to present over welfare of families and communities. So there is no family life. No one wants to live in this family. Everyone is individual. They are living their own life. Oh, nuclear family, me and my very small family. It recognizes neither any duties nor any obligation, and place no responsibility on individual who hurts other as he went after his pleasure. Even though for my pleasure, if I am going to hurt others, I don't have any regrets. The school did not also suggest a sensible scheme for resolving the plausible conflict of interest when two people want to chase the same happiness. So, if what and how far someone is going to do to hurt others to gain that happiness, they are going to kill, they are going to torture to gain that happiness, because my goal of this life is only to gain that pleasure. So, for that, so many hurting and so many bad things I can able to do. Charvaka is silent on this welfare, higher dimensional. Otherwise, everyone is becoming extreme of pleasure and become extreme non-ethical, and they can do lots of crime things because there is no scheme of ethics, what you should do and what you should not do as a sensible thing. You should not hurt others. Even though, okay, we are accepting you like drawing, you like listening to music, you like loud music, but your loud music and I want to read something, there are conflicting. We are living in same room. So what should we do when these two conditions are going to meet at the same moment? Pleasure and pain. Someone's pleasure is going to create someone else's pain. Charvaka is silent. So there are lots of loopholes, but at the same moment, there are some good things also we can take care of. So Charvaka Darshana, there is no heaven, no final liberation, nor any soul in another world. While life remains, let a man live happily. Let him feel on this ghee, even though he runs in depth. Runam Kritva. When once the body becomes ashish, how can it ever return again? And while life is yours, live joyously. None can escape the death's searching's eye. When once this frame of ours they burn, how shall it's going to come back again? So this is Charvaka Darshana. So after learning this extreme reality of material possessions and chasing and pursuing this happiness that is always transitory and having this byproduct of pain and suffering, and this balance is not there. For spending thousands and thousands of rupees, spending days and days of hard work and pain, one day or 2 day we can have that pleasure experience, and that is also not 100% guaranteed. So even if we try to follow this material possession of Charvak Darshana philosophy, at the end we know that is not working. This pain is inevitable and is always there. And by seeing this material possession, and someone has everything, that Charvaka Darshana is saying that, okay, what you want, whatever that material possession, I have everything that you are telling me. I am king of this mansion. And there are thousands and thousands of people are serving me. And all that means of happiness, all these tools of happiness, everything is there. If that tools, if that materials are going to create happiness, that even if everything I have, I'm not happy within myself, and death is inevitable, how you can going to escape? So today, even if I am happy, there should be some other way around. And for that, many people started their journey to take more deeper look of this reality. And one of this great master is Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. So let's take refuge in his feet and learn from him what he has find out that ultimate reality, and what are tools and meals and what are other formulas he is going to teach us in philosophy of Buddha. And the philosophy, if someone is following this philosophy of Buddha, it's become as a Buddhism. The same we have Hinduism, the philosophy of Hindus. The same this philosophy of Buddhas become Buddhism. It's again separate religion in their own means. And very easy and very fundamental things they are teaching us under this philosophy of Buddhas. So in early life and this curiosity, born in this royal family of Shuddhodana, king in northern part of India, 4 to 6 BC, learned the science and meditations on very early age, and verified and very gifted, brave young man, and married at age of 16 and had a son called Rahula. But Siddhartha became curious and left the palace with his charioteer Channa. And why? Because he saw this dead man. He, he saw this old man. He saw this sick man and saw this holy man. And this inspired him to pursue more spiritual path to find this end of suffering. I am not going to accept a single moment of suffering in my life. And I have everything, whatever pleasurable activities that Charvaka or Lokayata Darshana is giving me, everything is there within myself. But it's not giving me joy, not fulfillment. And after end of this pleasure, there are always pain. So I want 100% happiness and 0% suffering. So how I can avoid this suffering? Because I have all this material possession to give me pleasure, so that I'm not worrying about how I'm going to earn more money and how I can become millionaire and billionaires and all other things. That is, I don't have that issue. I have everything. But I have suffering. Even though everything that is expected by any person, I have everything, but I am not accepting these impurities of suffering. I have this physical body, some way I have this disease, and sometime I have this pain, and I have seen this old man and this person is going to die. Then what is going to happen? This all material possession, if I am not going to be there as an enjoyer. So I want to find out and escape from this prison. So he went as a wanderer and sleeping in forest, become as a monk, and took learning from many various different monks and yogis, and then sat under this Bodhi tree and enlightened. And he found that ultimate truth that everyone is looking for. How I can able to end this suffering of my life, even for a single moment. I'm not going to accept that suffering. So the way to come out of this suffering is found by one and only Gautama the Buddha, the enlightened one that is called as a Buddha. And the way is here. It's very simple way. Shila, Samadhi, Panna. Only three fundamental ways if you are going to follow, you are also going to be as a Buddha. You can able to end your suffering. First is giving this moral concept. Do not kill, do not take what is not given, and misuse of your senses. Speak falsehood and do not intoxicated drinks. He's realized that there are four Arya Satya. This noble truth of existence is always there. What are these Arya Satya? First, suffering is there. All this life, everything is dukkham, suffering. He found that swarupa of this dukkham. What is dukkha? What are different types of dukkha? What are cause of dukkha? What are effect of dukkha? And seeing and experiencing everything, manifested or non-manifested, dukkham is always there. Impurity is also. I am not experiencing that dukkha right now because maybe that is in non-manifested form, but dukkha is still there. And it's once that time will come, it will going to manifest. So everything, sarvam eva dukkham, that is my first noble truth of existence. He realized this truth. These are truth, Arya Satya, eternal truth of nature. He find out four noble truth, suffering. But said, okay, suffering is there. We are accepting everything is suffering, understanding this swarupa of dukkha, but there are some cause of this suffering. And it's not only stopping there. There is third thing. We can end of this craving, detachment with nirvana, enlightenment. There are some upaya, heya, hetuhu, hanupaya, and hanam. You can have this technology. Okay, there are suffering, so we don't need to be, oh, everything is suffering, what we should. Okay, but there is a way. I am also showing this way to you. Is eightfold path of enlightenment. And once you follow this path, you are also going to be same as me as a Buddha. That is what he's teaching. That just to follow this path, eightfold path. Shila, Samadhi, Panna. Shila, Samadhi, Panna. And come out of this prison of suffering. Let's see. So Siddhartha Gautama was the prince of Shakya and who ruled a prosperous Republican community in Kaushala kingdom situated foot of Himalaya ranges. And his father was Shuddhodana, Shakya chieftain, and his mother was Maya, Mahamaya. And Siddhartha was born under a shal tree in Lumbini garden. Is right now is in Nepal. While his mother was traveling to her parents' home, he lost his mother while he was still an infant and was brought up by his mother's sisters, Prajapati Gautami. He married Yashodhana, his cousin, and the couple had a son named Rahula. Siddhartha was a good-looking person with a strong body. He had his military training in his upbringing and was once invited by King Bimbisara to join the army as a general. He left his home at the age of 29, soon after the birth of his son, to search for the truth. For 6 long years, he studied and went from one teacher to another and lived a life of mendicant, practiced severe austerity, and he was satisfied neither with that teaching that is already available at that time, nor that methods. That he also realized that with a body so utterly weakened as he is, he would not be able to pursue this path of enlightenment or self-realization. He broke away from this fellow samanas and also abandoned extremists of self-torture and prolonged fasting. Thereafter adopted the method of moderation that is away from this extreme called as a middle way, Madhyama Marga. It's created this new path that is very unique in its own nature, and everyone can able to start walking on this. That is why it's become so popular. And he practiced this meditation under the tree of Yuravela forest along the bank of Neranjara river near Gaya. Gautama, at the age of 35, attained this enlightenment on a full moon in the month of May, Vaiseshika Vaishakh. The Buddha was wandering monk for 20 years, and starting from his enlightenment, continuously moved from places to places. He then settled down at Shavasthi place, living on alms for about 20 years. He left Savasti in 79th year and spent the next rainy season at Rajgraha, and from where he moved northward. While on a move at the age of 80, he passed away quietly at Kusinara in the Malla county. So the Buddha is a precious jewel of humanity that we all know that no matter how you look at him, he must have been a wonderful person of majesty, tenderness, compassion, and one who was free from all prejudice. He always carried himself with dignity. You cannot fail to wonder at the brilliance and greatness, empathy, nobility of this person and his teaching. Though 25 centuries have gone since the passing away of this Buddha, and his message of love, compassion, and wisdom continue to influencing and guiding us. This is under Bodhi tree of Siddhartha the Gautama. There are two traditions right now after Buddha's teaching. One is called as a Mahayana, the great vehicle, Mahayana, because it's a path. So you have some yanam, you should have some tools, some technology, some vehicle you can sit, and it's going to take you to ultimate destination. And there are some another is called as a Theravada tradition. Both traditions are existing right now. So this Theravada or called as a Hinayana, and another is called as a Mahayana. There is third way is also there. It is called as a vehicle of thunderbolt. It's called as a Vajrayana. So three main traditions are currently right now in a path of Buddhism. So Mahayana Buddhism is the figure of Bodhisattva, literally being of wisdom. Bodhisattva is being who is very close to Nirvana but turns back before reaching to work of the salvations. And Bodhisattva deny entry into Nirvana until even smallest creature has reached the highest goal. So this Mahayana, that everyone, Maha means everyone should come on this vehicle and let's start this journey together. It's Mahayana. Real name of Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, lifetime 563 BC to 483 BC, death between 486 to 483. Birthplace is Lumbini, Nepal, Piprava, Uttar Pradesh, and Kapileshwara, Orissa. Father is King Shuddhodana, Shakya, clan, and Queen Mahamaya, his mother. So young Siddhartha, shielded from religion, suffering, arranged marriage with Yashodhara, its son Rahula, 29 years as a prince, but unsatisfied, leaves the place, sees the real life, break from wife and palace and kingdom, and find out this middle path of enlightenment. So enlightenment, 49 days of meditation, four noble truth, insights and their steps. Teacher for 45 years. Last travel is transfer knowledge and wisdom to Mahakashyapa. So this is called Buddhism. It's a path of spiritual discovery. That Siddhartha Gautama look at the human condition much as a doctor. He found this disease. He sees that decay and death is there. He fully realized that joy and pleasure exist as well, but he recognized that those qualities did not stay last. All things in life were transitory and temporary, transitory and temporary. So even in a joy, the awareness of impermanence, anicca, 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 and death cause unhappiness and suffering. Sarvam iti dukkham, sarvam iti dukkham. So that is reality he found out under this Buddhism. So this tradition focus on practical aspect of everyday life and ethical behavior that we know that is missing in Charvak Darshana. So it has been called as an atheistic religion as it has no formal doctrine of God, sin or salvation or eternity as exist in many other religion and tradition. There is no heaven or hell. For they as well as everything in this world are illusionary. Buddhism is in some way a form of nihilism. So the central philosophy core of Buddhist teaching is essentially impact of cause and effect. Cause and effect, Satkaryavad that we have seen in Sankhya Darshan. That is, that suffering is effect. And aim of Buddhism is to get rid of cause of that suffering, that is desire. So this means central teaching of Buddhism is if we can remove this desire, this raga and dvesha, then there will be no suffering. So that desire, this chaha gai chinta miti manwa beparwa, jinko kachu na chahiye, wahi shahanshah. So that desirelessness is ultimate goal of Buddhism. And if you don't have desire, if you don't have any cause, there is no effect of suffering, as simple as it is. Teaching of Buddhism. The author is Buddha Siddhartha the Gautama. And we know this early life of Buddha is called as a awakened one. Whoever is awakened is fully conscious in all the time is called as a Buddha. Queen Maya's dream and how he's coming into existence, birth of Siddhartha, birth of his son as a Rahula, and he's seeing this old age and sickness and death as a reality of existence. Then they are traveling with Channa and seeing this, these are all stages of life and old age and sickness, and at the end, death is there and is natural and unavoidable things. Then I am also going to be dead. I am also have old age. I am also going to sick. I don't want this suffering and I don't want anyone else to be suffer. He said this karuna and compassion of humanity. I don't want anyone to be suffer for a single moment of their life. I want to find that path that everyone can move and come out of this suffering. That is my purpose of life. Let's learn what are key concepts of this Buddhism or central teaching of Buddhas. First is the mark of existence. Very, very important. What is existent? Anicca, dukkha, anatta. Anicca, everything is anityam. Everything is transitory. Whatever that you are going to realize is anicca, illusionary, changeable. Everything is dukkham. Everything is suffering. Only the layers manifestation is changing, but everything, whatever you are realizing, experiencing in this life is suffering. Dukkham, sarvam dukkham. And third mark of existence is anatta. There is no self. There is no atma. So anicca, dukkham, and anatta called as a three important part of existence. Three principle of existence, dukkha, the suffering, difficulties we experience in life. Anicca, impermanence, everything is going to end. Anicca. Anatta, not a self, no true self, no soul, no atma. Only we have many different but temporary conditions in life. But there is no self, there is no kartra. Second thing he is going to taught us is Four Noble Truth, Arya Satya. It's a framework of Buddhism that four truths are there. What are they? This dukkha mariya satyam. Suffering consists of disease and old age and death, of separation from those who love and craving for what we cannot obtain and hating what we cannot avoid. So this first noble truth, sorrow, dukkham mariya satyam, dukkham mariya satyam. All suffering is caused by desire and attempt to satisfy our desire. What is cause of this dukkham? Suffering ceases with the complete cessation of this thirst. Thirst or craving, tanha for pleasure, kama tanha, thirst for existence, bhava tanha, and thirst for heavenly existence, vibhava tanha is the cause. And this suffering can be overcome by ceasing to this desire and thus. And the way to end desire is to follow this eight-folded path. The path, dukkha nirodha gamini. Dukkha nirodha gamini pati paddaryar iti satcham. That leads to the cessation of sorrow if eightfold path, the right belief and right aspirations and right speech and right conduct and right means of livelihood, right endeavor, right memory and right meditation is the path. Dukkha happens. Dukkha has cause. There is ending of dukkha. And how? I have this tool called Eightfolded Path, says the Gautama. So Gautama is giving this four Arya Satya. Dukkha happen, dukkha has a cause, end of dukkha, and eightfolded path. All being experience this pain and misery, dukkha, during their lifetime. Birth is pain, old age is pain, sickness is pain, death is pain, sorrow and grief and sorrow and grief and anxiety, pain, contact with unpleasant is pain, separation from the pleasant is pain, not getting what one wants is pain. In short, the five assemblies of mind and matter, they are only subject to attachment, are pain, pain, and pain. Sarvam Dukkham, first Arya Satya. Origin samudaya dukkha, samudaya of pain and misery is due to specific cause of it is my desire that leads to this rebirth and accompanied by this pleasure and passion, raga and dvesha, seeking pleasure here and there. That is the desire for pleasures, the desires of existence, and desire for non-existence is dukkha samudaya. And the nirodha, cessation of pain and misery, can be achieved with the complete non-passion and cessation of every desire, with his abandonment and renunciation, with his liberation and detachment from that desires. Nirodha kamini. And we have this eightfold path. If we follow, we can able to stop the pain and misery, pain and misery. So these are these four noble truth and this eightfold path. If I'm going to follow, I can achieve that nirvana, come out of this suffering is right opinion, right intention, right speech and right conduct and right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness and right concentration. So these are my 8 tools, these sadhanas. Only these sadhanas, if I going to follow, I can come out of this cycle of suffering, pain and suffering. So right view and right thought and right speech and right action, right livelihood, right effort, right awareness and right concentrations. These are Arya Magga. This is Arya Marga. This is a way of Aryas. Proper understanding of Four Noble Truths, proper thought, proper speech, of renunciation, loving and kindness and harness. Proper speech, not lying, not malicious, abusive speech, no idle chatter. Proper action, not killing, stealing, or any sexual misconduct. Proper livelihood by abstraining from dishonesty and harmful means, and proper effort is developing oneself. I am taking responsibility of my own life. And proper mindfulness, 4 foundations of mindfulness. And proper concentration, the 4 form of jnanas, pragya. So Shila, Samadhi and Prajna. So this eightfold path we can able to categorize in threefold also. So in a social dimension, in the same when we have learned in a Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, we have this yamas and niyamas, how I am going to live in this world. Shila, this morality, code of conduct, the same as a niyamas, right speech, right conduct, and right livelihood. And I have second layer, that is concentration, mano nigraha, by doing this pratyahar dharana dhyana in a yoga sutra. Here we have as a right effort mindfulness and samadhi, training your mind, samadhi, concentration, and later on the third tier, final most eightfold path or tripod is panna, this wisdom, pragya, rutambhara tatra pragya, that we have learned in Yoga Darshana, right view and right resolve. Synopsis of affliction, purifications of all your intention, because we know that intention, that desire is the single most cause of all this suffering. So from where this intention are coming, why this intention are coming, just looking at with your wisdom. And once you know you are not going to have any more desires. And if you have no desires, there will be no pain, there will be no other life. Only that desire is the single most cause of all suffering. And that avidya, ignorance, you can able to remove with right view and right resolve with panna, this wisdom. So three tripods of this path of enlightenment by Buddha. So this is Dhamma Chakra. The noble eightfold path is threefolded as moral virtue, Shila, moral virtues, concentration, samadhi, and panna is a wisdom. It's mentioned in many suttas that these three are sequential, all are sequential, all are sequential. So, or once you start on Shila, slowly, slowly Samadhi will come. Once you start Samadhi, slowly, slowly Panna will come. If you start Panna, you are becoming Shila. So nothing is going to be given you as a burden. Oh, you need to be truthful, you need to be like that. No moral value. Just start focusing on this mind and do this concentration. Shila will come. Panna will come. Just do this Jnana Yoga, improve your wisdom. Your Shila is also going to be improved. You are not going to harm anyone else because you know everyone is me. Everyone are sailing on same boat. So Shila, Samadhi, Panna, Shila, Samadhi, Panna, right speech, right action, and right livelihood, right effort and right mindfulness and right concentrations on this Samadhi and Panna, right view and right resolve. That is eightfolded path, Dhamma Chakra. And if you follow this chakra, you can come out of this chakra of karmas and death and life. So these are my different stages of eightfolded path. And later he is giving these three jewels, that these jewels are something called three treasures, triple gem. If you are surrendering yourself, this eightfolded path will become more easier for you. What are these three gems? One is that enlightened person believing and understanding of that enlightenment is true. That is Buddha, fully enlightened. Not as a person, but as a property. I can be Buddha. I can be enlightened. I can be mindful all the time. Fully awakened. I can be in this moment all the time. So let's surrender myself to this awareness of enlightening Buddha. Let's surrender myself to this Dhamma, the teaching of this enlightenment, eightfolded path, and Sangha, the community of these people who are following, so we can help each other. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in Dhamma, and I take refuge in this Sangha. That is my three triple gem that inspire and motivate me. This Sanghas. 5 percept is also great training and teaching so that we can able to move ahead with this path of enlightenment, eightfolded path. Buddhists believe that by following them, they will have a more positive mental state. So the same in a Yoga Sutra, we have how I can make this motivation and inspiration of my mind. Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upekshanam, Sukha Dukha, Punya, Punya, Vishayanam, Bhavanatas, Chitta, Prasadanam. How I can make this Chitta more blissful, Prasadanam. By following this Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, and Upeksha, 4 percept. Here, Buddha is giving this 5 percept. If you follow this 5 percept, your mind and your physical body, your mental body, and your practice will become more blissful and not just only rituals that, okay, Shila, Samadhi, Pragya, I need to follow Shila. No, it's become so joyous journey if you have this 5 precept. So these 5 precepts: to abstain from taking life, to abstain from taking what is not given. I do abstain from sexual misconduct, to abstain from the false speech and not taking any intoxicated. Theory of karma in Buddhism. So they are believing in soul is reborn. It may enter body in higher or lower state of existence that is in previous one. The new body may be that of a king or a beggar or even an animal or insect. Determining factor of soul's new existence is the quality of life that is led by that individual soul in his previous existence. That is called the law of karma. So simply putting, karma consists of individual thought, words, deeds in his or her previous existence. If karma has been good, the soul will be reborn in higher form. So that law of karma is also very foundational part of Buddhism. Karma is cycle of cause and effect. What person has done, does, and will do, past and future life. Everybody responsible by their own karmas. 3 types of karma: kaik, mansik, and vachik. Physical, mental, and spiritual. All karmas. You are creator or destroyer of your own life. Thoughts of helping others, compassion, and mindfulness leads to happiness and freedom. Yoga eliminates the negative karmas. So this is karma in Buddhism. So definition: politicians' action and this ethical quality of action. Thus, good karma produce happiness and bad karma produce suffering. Result of karma is vipaka. Vipaka, intention, chetana, then kushala, then akushala, then kamadvara, then bodily and speech and mind. 3 doors of action. Kamadvara, body, speech, and mind. Mula is root of unwholesome greed, lobha and raga, hatred, dosha, dvesha, delusion, that is moha. Wholesome and non-delusion, amoha, is wisdom. That is theory of karma. How the different cause is going to give you different effect. All this course of actions and karma patha, unholy, bodily, destroying this life, taking what is not, all this verbal force speech is giving this bad effect. Nirvana, enlightenment, samadhi, what this Buddha is teaching us as part of ultimate realizations, final most goal, dharma, artha, kama, and this moksha dharma, final goal, nirvana. So correctly following this eightfold path brings one in time to nirvana, a terms that is difficult to define, but Buddhists have said that it cannot be described in word. It is not a heaven of Christianity or Islamism. The ancient Indian language, nirvana, is said as a blowing out, as flame is blown out in Buddhism. What is blown out is my own hatred, my greed, and my delusion and illusion. If I am fully blowing out as this flame and this fire within myself, this tapa, austerity, by following this path, eightfold path, I can able to destroy my greed and hatred and delusion, and that is state of nirvana. The same we call as a moksha, also the final release after this nirvana. Whatever your karma, vipaka, paka, the effect that is still there after 1 life or 2 life or 5 lives, 7 lives, ultimate release, that karmic mukti is going to be there. So you can come out of samsara. Whatever that your pending task as a karma, once that will be fulfilled, because now you are not adding new karma, but whatever your past karmas, after your enlightenment, after your nirvana, after you have desire, your intention, but you are just like a riding this bicycle and you are pedaling and pedaling and pedaling, and once you, oh, I should not, because why this life is moving, because I am pedaling, no one else is forcing me to ride and go on this life and go on and on this cycle. So that realization is nirvana. My intention is the cause of this suffering. My intention, my action of pedaling, that's the only force that giving this ride of cycle. So that moment, once I realize, I stop pedaling, but that momento is still there. So whatever that karma sanskara, whatever my previous intention before my self-realization for 2 years or 2 life or 4 life or 5 lives, once it is going to be slow down and slow down and slow down. And now I'm not adding more sanskara. I'm not adding more karmas. I'm not pedaling now. So it's slowly, 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 slowly that final release will come as a final release of moksha. So enlightenment and moksha. So one day the Buddhist traditional holds Siddhartha realized that his years of penance had only weakened his body in such a state of physical exhaustion he could not meditate properly. He stood up and stepped into the river to bath. However, he was so weak that he could not raise himself out of water. So that is why he found this path of middleman and become enlightened one, the Buddha, the enlightened one. His own desire and suffering were over, and his Buddha has attained the state of nirvana. In the Buddha's own words, there is a sphere which is neither earth nor water, nor fire nor air, which is neither this world nor this other, neither sun nor moon. I deny that it is coming or going, enduring death or birth. It is only the end of suffering. I achieved this state of nirvana. The middle way that we said, he don't want to go on any extreme, so he's found this way, the middle way. So he described the life of pleasure that he had first known, and then the life of severe torturing and very asceticism of practice. Neither of this. Either I'm not going on extreme of materialistic, that okay, I'm only focusing on this, whatever that pleasure is coming, I'm focusing on that, or I'm not going to do of a sannyasa, of extreme sannyasa, not ever taking any food or shelter or just doing so much spiritual practice. I want to combine and come together, and there is a way in between. It's like a pendulum. There is one extreme and another extreme, and both extremes have failed. I have walked on both extreme, on highest goal of material possessions and enjoyment. At the end, I know pain is still there. Whatever you have desired, whatever you have think of as a pleasureful experience of material possession, I have everything right now. I'm a king of this whole universe. But that pain is still there. So you cannot avoid. So just only following this path of pleasure and pleasure, like Charvaka is teaching, there is no end. It's always dead end. And many materialistic people, that is why now they said, okay, because I have seen lots of materialistic, I want to be spiritual, and they are going on another extreme of this pendulum. Everything I just want to keep it aside, and 12 hours and 16 hours not eating properly and just doing this spiritual practice, meditation, learning and reading. That is also one extreme, that you have given on one extreme of material possessions and following day and night to possess that materials. You are not taking care of your physical health. You are not taking care of your families and friends and nothing. You're just focusing on money minded. Now the same mind, so same extremist mind, you are putting a spiritual. I'm very spiritual. Oh, you are very mediocre person. I'm very spiritual. I'm waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning and the whole day I'm doing this spiritual sadhanas. So that is also one extreme. And there also truth is not there. The truth is in the middle. That is a very great way of middle is explored by this Gautama, the Buddha. So this Buddha opened this celebrated discourse at the Migadaya in Ishipatana, saying that there are two extreme monks from which he who leads a spiritual life must abstain. What are those two extremes? One is a life of pleasure, devoted to desires and enjoyment. That is base, ignoble, and unspiritual, unworthy, unreal. And another way is life of mortification. It is very gloomy and unworthy and unreal. The perfect one, O monks, is removed from both this extreme and has discovered the way which lies between them. The middle way, Machya Mati Pada, which enlightens the eyes and enlightens the mind, which leads to Panna, enlightenment, to Nirvana. So follow this path of Machya Mati Pada. 6 virtues is also given in Buddhas, that Dana, Shila, Shanti, and Virya, and Dhyana, and Pragya. So this, once you follow this virtue, it will going to help you out for your spiritual practice. There is very great, unique theory of understanding this reality. Pratitya Samutpadavada. The same we have in a Satkaryavad and another school and theories in a Sankhya and in a Yoga Darshana. Here also very unique theory of Pratitya Samutpadavada is there. The circle of Avijja Tanna. This 12 different understanding and these 4 phases of this life is creating this avijja tanna and how you can come out of this. So this called as a law of dependent originator, paticca samutpada. So this dependent originator explains the reason of suffering, why this dukkha is there, as well as the key for that liberation. The law is associated with 12 links, nidana. This nidana of 12 links all arranged in this will, and one leading to the next, one leading to the next. That is why this dukkha, samudaya, suffering is happening. And there are this nidana. This principle can be given in a short formula of 4 lines. When this is, that is. This arising, so that arises. When this is not, that is also not. If this ceasing, that also ceasing. This law emphasizes an important principle that all phenomena in this universe are relative, conditioned state and do not arise independently of supportive conditions. Paticca Samuppada, the law of dependent origination. What are these? Avijja Sankhara. Sankhara goes to Vijnana. Vijnana create Nama Rupa. Nama Rupa creates Salayatana. Salayatana create a Phassa. Phassa gave a Vedana. Vedana gives a Tanha. Tanha gave Upadana. Upadana gave a Bhava. Bhava is give a Jati, and a Jati is giving Jara Marana. These are 12 links that one after another cause and effect is coming because of avijja, ignorance, and avidya. This mental formations of sankhara is coming. And because of this sankhara, vijnana is coming as a consciousness. And because of this vijnana and intentions and desire, there are different name and form are coming into existence. And because of this name and rupa, we have this salayatana, six senses of panchagyana in the mind. And because of this, we have this contact of this sense organ to this object is called phassa, this contact of subject and object. And because of this contact of phassa, of subject, sense organs, and objects, so this self, this bhrutrutva, grihitri, grahana, grahyeshu, that we learn in a Yoga Sutra, see, grahitri is coming to contact with this object. These eyes are going to see this object. They are going to listen. We have this taste. That is going to create as a Vedana. So from Phassa, by this coming together of subject and object, this interaction is creating Vedana. I have Vedana. Oh, there's something good things. I am saying I am feeling good. Good Vedana, good Samvedana. And if I something bad, I'm going to see bad Samvedana, Vedana. And because of if we have Tanha Phassa, if something good, I want to see more. I have craving and desire of looking and tasting. If I'm liking that pizza, I have tasted that pizza, I want more and more. So that tanha, craving is created. And that tanha, because of that tanha, I will have more deeper desire of upadana, clingingness of that material object. And because of that, this becoming I as a eater, I as a enjoyer, I as a bhokta is becoming, bhava is coming. And because of bhava, I have this bhava of becoming. I want to become something before everything is processed. Nothing is there. But I as a subject, as a bhoktrutva, as a enjoyer, as a experience that bhava, jati is coming as a birth. The first birth is coming because of from avijja, sankhara, vijnana, nama, rupa, satayatana, phassa, vedana, tanha, upadana, bhava, jati. And because of jati, jara and marana, you have this birth, you are going to die. You have this young body, you are going to be coming to aging. And this jara marana again come to avijja, sankhara, vijnana, nama, rupa, salayatana, phassa, vedana, tanha, upadana, bhava, jati. Same circle, the same circle is moving and moving. This is called as a dependent origination. So this 12 links we can able to divide in 3: klesha, karma, and dukkha. Defilement of klesha, that is first ignorance, craving, clinging, that is my klesha. The same we have learned in Yoga Sutra. Defilement is the impurities of mind resulting in action, and action is my karma, mental formations and becoming. And because I have mental formation and becoming, dukkha, suffering is there. Consciousness, we have name and form, we have the sixth sense, we have this feeling of Vedana, we have this birth, and we have aging and death. There are 6 great elements of these realizations when you are going in the state. So in a Buddha, in Buddhism, it's what are these elements called as a dhatu. The same in other Nyaya, Vaiseshika, we have this dhatu. So we have these 6 great elements called dhatu: earth, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness, vijnana dhatu. So these 6 elements are part of Buddha, Buddhism. Being and non-being, self and non-self, Atma or non-Atma, or Jivatma. What is that? So in Buddha, even at the very early stage of Indian thought, two groups had clearly emerged. That one that asserted the hypothesis of becoming, being as a Satkaryavada, as a Sankhya, and the other of non-being, Asatkaryavada. Both camp left strong impression on later Indian spectacular, the history of subsequence. So this self, cause and effect, Satkaryavad, self is there or non-being or there is a being. The Buddha rejected both these extreme position of being and non-being. He preached the doctrine that embodied this middle mode. Ityabho ante anupa gamma ajimena dhamma disti, becoming, believing, neither in chance nor in necessarily, exclusively, but in condition that is happening. Oh, I am believing in Atma. I am not believing Atma. I am believing in God. I am not a believer. So, believer and non-believer, forget about both extreme and go in middle. What is this universe? If you are saying that, okay, there is no self, or you are saying there is no known self, then what this experience? So we have said, okay, there are observer and there is observed object. You said there is no observed object and there are no observer. No one is there is watching and experiences. There is no self and there is no self. So what is this? So because we have three types of three-folded reality: observation, observer, and observed. So he is putting very unique way that no one has ever put that focus that, okay, I am accepting there are three reality, three-folded reality, you have triputi. So I am putting that center, middle one, that process. Everything is just a process. Everything is just becoming. So there is no ahankara that as a jiva bhava, no being is there, but it's becoming, it's a process that I am accepting as a universe, as a finest and one reality. I am not saying Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. I am saying, okay, Jagat is there, no Brahman is there. And this Jagata is not steady, it's always changing as a becoming and becoming and becoming. So in regard to this universe, Buddha was questioned several times that universe is there or it's not there. So it exists or it does not exist. So it is a Maya, is it illusion, or it is same as a physical reality that Sankhya has accepted as a Prakriti. Whether the universe loka is eternal or not, whether it is infinite or not, Tathagata said, not going by the extreme, taught the intermediate, that Madhyama Pratipada. He explained that the concept of it exists, asti, represents an absolute that is always there, asti, and unchanging substance. When you are said is asti, that's said, okay, Prakriti is there, universe is there, is asti, is there. So you are accepting as a reality always going to be there. The Sat is always going to be there in a same formation. And when you are saying that it not exist, does not exist, nasti, asti and no asti. Nasti concept means that everything is annihilated without any trace. That is what you are asking of universe. Either it is asti or nasti. His middle path was that the world is neither being nor is it non-being, but it is just becoming. It's just a continuous flow of just water that is always changing to be and passing away. So no clinging. There is nothing permanent, anicca, satya, anicca, or eternal in the universe. He preferred a dynamic explanation to the static, changeless position. The real nature of the universe, according to Buddha, consists series of these temporary principles which change each principle in sequence and conditions, becoming the condition for the next. So there is continuous, though, no continuous substance. So just as from this milk, you are creating this curd, and from this curd, this butter, and from butter we have ghee, and from ghee we junk it. And but when it is milk, it is not called curd. In a original form, when milk is there, we are not telling, okay, even though it have possibility to becoming as a curd or butter or ghee, but when it is in a finest equilibrium state of milk, I'm just telling is a milk. So when it is going to curd as a manifested form, it is not called by any of other name. So the same way, this concept of law of this causation, but also pointing to the principle of identity of each and every stage is real at that same moment also. Even though we have from one formation to another formation, another to another, each states in that chain of change is real. When there is a curd, there is a curd. When there is a ghee, that is also there. So that is also Sat. But at the same moment, it is Asat when that phase is going to be changed. So Asti Nasti, Asti Nasti, Asti, milk is Asti, curd Nasti. In second phase, curd Asti, milk Nasti. In third stage, ghee Asti, curd and milk Nasti. So the chain reaction of present in is not real when it was past or something that it was before, and also not real when it is coming as a future. So that principle of Majjhima Nikaya, this sansara, this is beginningless. No ultimate point of origin could be discerned. There is no final ultimate beginning according to Buddha. One can go on forever, forever, tracing the cycle back and back and back from the life to life. Same conditions will be found generating new life all the time. Leave aside these questions of the beginning and the end. He said, I shall instruct you on the law. If that is, this come to be, on springing of that, this spring up. If that is not, this does not come at all. So that cessation, start working on that. And the sansara is asti nasti. Soul of the tend to like bracket the issues of what this universe now the soul. Okay, are you believer of Atma? Are you believer of this self? Middle path. Avoid the extreme of entity called soul that survives the birth after birth, and that of a soul which perishes as a body, withers away. The Buddha explained human as a very dynamic interrelations of five skandhas. So truly, if one holds the view that self is identical with the body, in that case, there can be no holy life. Again, if one holds the view that self is one thing and I have this separate body, in that case also, there can be no holy life, because avoiding both extreme, the perfect one teaches the doctrine that lies in a middle way. So no self and no known self. No asti and no nasti. So anatta lakhana sutta, that any kind of feeling, whatever, any kind of perception, whatever, any kind of determination, what any kind of consciousness, whatever, there is no self separated from a non-self. In other words, there is no self apart from this process of happening. Everything is just a process and process and process. No observer, no observed, no self, no universe. Process is there. Process is there. this meditation process. Just follow this process, self-becoming process, and the non-self becoming process, your universe becoming process, your world is going to be process. Everything, there's a pancha mahabhutas and mind and matters, all these are changing from mind to matter. Energy changes into matter, and that matter again coming to energy dimension. So this sthula sukshma karana, what is this? Everything is process. So there is no milk, there is no curd, there is no ghee. Transformation is there. That process is there. So milk is transformed to ghee, and that ghee again going to become milk one day. And that again that milk is going to become. So what is this? Why stick on this non-permanent thing of nama rupa, name and form? Focus on process. Transformation is happening all the time. That changes is happening. Be part of this flowing river and become one with process. Remove your ego and become arhanta. Become arhanta, the focus of arhanta, that right understanding, this panna, it's arise, right, instantaneously when someone is following on this path. So he who has gone to rest, no measure can fathom me, there is no word to speak of him, every part to speech bread. Suttani pata, and this is become enlightened one. On one living in this body is termed as arhanta in the Buddhist law. Coming out of this pain and suffering, fully enlightened one is called as a arhanta. So that is arhanta. And all can become arhanta. All can come out of this cycle of misery. There are lots of literatures that we can study, but one is called as a Tipitaka. So this peti, this is a box, collection of a box, it's called as a pitaka. So whatever these teachings of Buddhas, this enlightened arihanta come together and sitting, and whatever he has taught, it's never been written down when he is living. So after his nirvana, they are asking this Ananda because he has very great sense of memory. But at that moment, he is not fully enlightened one. So they are asking that, okay, we have this 500 people, we are coming together and separating out all his teachings, and we need to write it down for future generations. So they are waiting for Ananda to become enlightened. Once he become Arhanta, become enlightened one, and they are sitting together because he is always there. Not a single moment he missed a single word of Buddha's. So all this sharp memory he's putting together and giving this entire teachings of Buddha in 3 Pitaka. Vinaya Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka. Vinaya is very basic, 5 books of a Sutta, Vibhanga, Khandaka, Parivara. Sutta is also again in a 5 different collections. It's more on a understanding of this path. And the highest mode of Abhidhamma, it's a what is Dhamma, Dharma Mega Samadhi, what are these Dhatu and Katha, and what is beyond this universe. Very detailed that many monks and very senior spiritual seeker can able to touch that teaching. So this Vinaya Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka, this fundamental literature of Buddhism. So the best of path is the eightfold path. The best of truth are the 4 noble truth. The best of state is non-attachment, and the best of biped is seeing only one, that is Dhammapada. And this is final word, final teaching of this Buddha. Buddha spoke his final word on lying down on this final time of nirvana. Everything that has been created is subject to decay and death. Everything is transitory. Everything is anicca, anicca, anicca. Work out your own salvation with religion, Appadipo Bhava, Appadipo Bhava, Appadipo Bhava. That is my final teaching to you all sadhaka. Anicca, anicca, anicca. Everything is transitory. Everything has been created to decay and death. Be your own light. Be your own light. Appadipo Bhava is a final word before nirvana, called as a parinirvana sutta. Parinirvana sutta. So this is what Buddhism is all about. We have Four Noble Truths: Dukkha, Tanha, Nibbana, Magga. Dukkha, Tanha, Nibbana, Magga. An eightfold path or threefold reality: Shila, Samadhi, Panna, and this five percept. These three things we just need to remember: eightfold path, Four Noble Truths, Arya Satya, and five percept. And once you can able to understand by this eight path, by focusing on noble truth, Four Noble Truth, by Nirodha, Samudaya, Dukkha, Magga, Magga, Dukkha, Samudaya, Nirodha, you can able to come out of this theory of cycle of karma, positive and negative, and come of this all avid that we know this cycle of origination. We can come out of these 12 phases and become enlightened one. So this samupada, these 12 stages, we can come out and come as a nirvanic stage, perfect bliss. Come out of this circle of life and death. So 3 treasure, 8 suffering, this origination. We have this path of Shila, Samadhi, and Panna. We have this 4 noble truth. We have this middle way of keep away from any extreme. 5 aggregates, 5 dependent originator, and 3 marks of existence. We can follow this component of Dhamma. That is what we call as Buddhism. And by following this Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, we have this Nibbana. We have this Nibbana, the final peace, final enlightenment. Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. So let's complete this journey of Nastik Darshana. Paraspar Upagraho Bhavati. Paropkaraya. This ultimate nature of my life. Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. What is this dharma that we are looking for? This non-violence is the one and only teaching. And this so deeper meaning of this non-violence, and following this non-violence, this ultimate realization of truth can happen by just following these yamas. Following not all the yamas, only one yamas, and ultimate realization can happen. That is foundation of Jainism. So let's learn this Darshana. Let me share. So Jaina philosophy. Let's do some basic introduction. Jainism, born in India about the same period when Buddhism is coming into existence, 599 to 527 BC. and many different ways that we have learned in Buddhism. Same philosophy we can able to see that both have developed as a dissensation, and they have said, okay, this or everything is dukkha, you should have something to come out of this. So they began this serious concern for this human soul in the relationship with these laws that governing this existence and the universe, and also paraspar upagraha, other living being is also there. So how we can live in a one society, help each other and grow together? Otherwise, what is going to happen? I am spiritual, I want to enlighten, and I will do this meditation. I don't care about you, or I don't care about these societies. I don't care about these more virtues. But this golden rule of ahimsa and paraspar upagraha, non-violence in all part of mental and verbal and physical, kayik, vachik, mansik, compassion for all the form, not only this humans, not only animals or plant, each and every being is living, and I want to be so careful. I want to become so sensible of everything. That sensibility is coming from this Jaina Darshana of major part is foundation is ahimsa, that non-violence. So very Jainism offers very quiet and overwhelmingly serious way of life, very cultural in system, compassion, society of great ethics, and they have changed so dramatically to change the entire world where we are living. Even though they are very small people who are following, but they are living in so much unity that everyone is fascinated by ahimsa paramo, the non-violence. If even you want to come as a freedom fighter, as a any social dilemma, you just use this non-violence, and you are be going to successful. Not only you, all that is going to come with you, they are also have the same peace. This is pillar, foundations of Jainism. This main symbol, paraspar upagraho jivanam, paraspar upagraho jivanam. This philosophy is ahimsa, aparigra, anekantavad. And practice darshana, jnana, charitra. Characteristic, panna, wisdom, and darshana, realization. Ahimsa, aparigraha, anekantavad is philosophy, and practice is darshana, jnana, charitra. This is Jainism. Nothing is outside of this. The symbol and these pillars. If we can able to understand and grasp, we can able to achieve that highest state of being as Mahavira and all Tirthankar are teaching. So this holy text, Tattvartha Sutra, Samatipanna phrase that paraspara upagraho jivanam, all life is mutually supportive. If I'm becoming happy, others are also going to be happy. This interdependency of each other, no dependency, no independency. I am a nirbhar, I am atmanirbhar, I will do by myself. You cannot. You always need help of others, or you cannot always depend on something. Interdependency, this is how world is living. This bhuta tattva, panch mahabhuta is depending on this higher dimensional being on is depending on others. So whole structure of this universe, this living thing, paraspara upagraho jivanam, paraspara upagraho jiva. If we can just remove small insect from this living universe, after this 5 years, 10 years, this whole universe is going to be destroyed. Even a small insect, everyone has very unique part to play. If I'm going to remove mosquito, there should not be any mosquito in this entire world. Even if we can remove mosquito, their chain reaction, the other jeev becomes so much exhausted, and that they will have the counter effect, and entire universe can be destroyed. So every living being has their interdependency. We are depending on them, they are depending on us. We have interdependency with each other. Paraspar जीवो उपग्रह bhavati bhavanti. So it's not very old when we are going to compare with Hinduism or other, but it's 500 BC. They have found this Jainism, and a teacher called Mahavira Jaina, through most Hindu put too much emphasis on that rituals. They put rituals and message. Non-violence, ahimsa, is main foundational part of Jainism. So in history, if you are going to look into the origination of this Jains, where Jain started, is not, but India is most commonly we can see is a part of origin of this religion of Sampradaya, as a Jainism. Uh, we call as a more properly Jaina, or Jaina Dharma is one of the oldest religion of homeland Indian of this world in Indian subcontinent, and preaches it's more 1,000 3,000 BC, before the Indo-Aryan cultures. It's very unique, and they have very great principle of non-violence. And when we said who is created and in the ownership of this Jainism, so founders of this Jainism, they call as a 24 Tirthankara, the food maker, the great teachers. They are in a chain. So these 24 Tirthankaras are main teacher and founders of Jainism. So this Mahavira, the great hero, the 24th and the final Tirthankara, reformed this ancient Jainism, lived in 599, 30 years he has been as a student, and 12 years as a aesthetic renunciations, and he gave this teaching throughout this world. So Parshva is the first Tirthankara, is 877, and Mahavira is the latest 600 BC. Place of birth of Parshva is mostly in Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh, and Mahavira is in Bihar, and both are originated in India. So this is how foundation of Parashvantha founded Jainism, and Mahavira revived and reorganized and established this Jainism. So Vardhamana Mahavira is the most important figure in Jainism, and is lasted is in a line of this all 24 Tirthankaras. Mahavira born on 13th day of rising moon of Chaitra month, and state of Bihara, and this day falls in the month of April, and birthday as a Mahavir Jayanti. And unlike Buddhism, Lord Mahavir is also not founded Jainism, but before is already there. There are other Tirthankars are there. Mahavira was a prince and was given the name as a Vardhamana by his parent. At the age of 30, he left his family and royal household, given away his all worldly possessions. He spent the next 12 years in deep silence and meditations to conquer his desires and feelings. That same Samutpadavada, the same Buddhism, this desire is the cause of all my suffering. And at the age of 72, Lord Mahavira died, and his purified soul left the body and achieved this complete revelation called moksha, nirvana. So he became as a siddha, pure consciousness, liberated soul, living forever in a state of complete bliss. On the night of the celebration, people celebrated festival of Diwali. Mahavira was very quite successful in erecting from human intellect the caste systems, and is doubted the worship of gods. He said, okay, you just only follow only one thing, that is ahimsa. And these are Tirthankar also appears in the world to teach this teaching, how you can be liberated and how you can get this moksha. So there are 24 Tirthankara during this present age. Shvetambara Jain believes that Tirthankara can be man or woman, but Digambara Jain believes the woman can't be as a Tirthankara. So there are some two Shvetambara and Digambara, two sets of the same Jainism is there. So Parshva is the first Tirthankara who is founder of this Jainism. And these are 24 different Tirthankaras are there, and their name and their form and what their teachings are. And there are, like, if we can say, there are still 4 million Jains are there, and have been founded by Mahavira. Jains means called as a who are follower of Jinas. So Jinas, that is called Tirthankar. So what is name etymology of Jaina is whoever is following Jains. Jina means who are like fully enlightened world. So 24 this Tirthankara who are giving this path of liberation, their believers is called as a Jainas. Jain philosophy. See, believe that everything has life, right? And this is ahimsa paramo dharma. So everyone, even the stones, sand and trees and every other thing, we need to love and sensible about this surrounding. So vegetarianism is also very way of their life, concept of compassion for every living being. And involved, they want to make sure that they are not harming these plants, they are not harming how we do the farmings, and all this process, all this logistic, they are becoming so nature and earth friendly that everything should be in the purest and way, so that this violence should be avoided, so that they are going and making sure of sensibility. Root with Jina, that we know that philosophy is conquer this inner enemy. Mahavira. Vira is a warrior from whom this inner victory against your inner enemies of Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha. In a godhood, but does not believe in God. But with the first, of course, God is not a creator, preserver, destroyer. God does not punish, or it's not going to reward you. It's everything. It's your own karmas. So each person is responsible for improving life by their one's self-endeavor. The Jains have always practiced non-violence, vegetarianism, meditations, yoga, and environmentalism. That is foundations of Jain philosophy. And this is their sutras: live and let live, becoming so non-violence. They are not going on these wars, and they are not all these extremes of this world. They are living peaceful and give others as a space also. Paraspar upagraho jivanam iti jainam. And this is their symbol. Truly enlightened perspective of quality and equality of souls, and irrespective of different physical form, ranging from human to animals and all microscopic living, everyone has the same right to live. Two philosophies, one that we call as a sets as a Shvetambara, and another is called as a Digambara. There are two Jain philosophies, Shvetambara, Digambara. Digambara more as a seem like a Mahavira, don't wear any clothes, but normally they don't walk like in outside. And this ahimsa, karma, the belief that for every action there will be consequence. They are believer in a reincarnation, and also believer of this proper conduct. So ahimsa, karma, reincarnation, and proper conduct. This ahimsa, truthfulness, non-stealing, celibacy, and non-possession. So Anuvrat and Maha Anuvrat, they have this vratas. So same in Yama and Niyamas in Yoga Darshana, same they are also having this proper conduct, focusing more on this conducting. And moksha, atomism, and no absolutes net. These are very key fundamentals of Jainism, that moksha results in the eliminations of effect of karma in one's life, achieved through meditation. Atomism, so Jains believe that every living thing on this planet possesses soul. Everything has a soul that we call as a jiva. And they also believe that people are bound to act more compassionately if they acknowledge that everything is composed of a same spirit or soul. And there is no absolutes, no perspective of any person is wrong. Despite the fact that different perspective have different effect on the specific situation. So that no absolutes. That is why when two Jains or other, they have that, they will not, even though have the different of opinion, they are going to accept everything as a truth, because there is no absolute truth is there. We said, okay, we should do that. we should follow this path. They said, okay, no, let's go that. Others said they had different opinion. So Jainas are not going to say, okay, I am right or my path is right and your path is wrong. So that philosophy of duality, right and wrong, is not exist in philosophy of Jainism, because everyone is sitting on a different perception, different corner of this life, and from that is their own truth. So this independent truth, everyone is right, no one is wrong, because there is no absolute truth that pervade everyone. So when we said, okay, this guy is saying truth, that we should follow this way. But what is truth? That is truth for himself or herself, but that may be not truth for me. You are saying meditation is best, but for me, karma yoga is best. Someone said bhakti is good. Someone said reading that book is good. So someone is asking, okay, this is my profession. Someone said, okay, that is my profession. Everyone has their own unique truth and way of life, and they are all living by their own individual path of enlightenment. So no one has to have any absolute right, okay, this is the only truth, this is the only way someone should live. So that is also very unique philosophies and darshanas of Jainism. So atomism, no absolute, and mokshas. So also there are other traits. Jainas promises to tell only truth, satyam, and avoid stealing. Their lifestyles and their principle. Most Jains are not monks and not, but they are like a household also, but they are living in absolute this satya, hinsa, and living with this characteristics. So Jina, Tirthankara, and Siddha. Siddha is called as a liberated soul. So goal of Jainism to become Jina. If I'm saying Jaina, means I am going from my Jiva Bhava to Shiva Bhava. So this limited identity, I want to become as absolute. So from Jiva to Jina, Jiva to Jina. That is why I'm path of process to becoming as a Jina. That is why I'm Jaina. Jaina is not some label I'm carrying to come as a separate identity from everyone else. No, it said, no, I want to become enlightened one. That is my finest goal. The dharma, artha, kama, that is there, but finest goal of my life to become Jina, nothing else. That's a single pointedness. Everything else is secondary to reading and writing and learning and working and business and families. Everything is separate. Becoming Jina is my finest goal of this life, because I have this life. So this opportunity to become Jina, nothing else. That is me as a Jaina. It's philosophy of Jaina. Life-giving spirit is called as a Jiva. And this non-living matter they call as a Ajiva. So Jain belief is Jiva and Ajiva. All livings being contain souls and are considered as Jiva. That Jiva is soul that is trapped in Ajiva, in matter. So humans, animal, plant, microscopic life, all are like Jivas. Unique teaching of Jainism: God is not a creator, preserver, or destroyer of the universe. Every living being has a potential to become God. Path of liberation is to follow rational perception, rational knowledge, and rational conduct by conquering your desire by your own effort to attain moksha. Proper knowledge of universal substances and fundamental tattvas are essential for this rational perception, knowledge, and conduct. So self-purification, penances, austerity, meditations are essential for this rational conduct. This is central teaching of Jainas. There are two sets, that Digambara and Shvetambara. Shvetambara wearing this white clothes, and the Digambara is wearing no clothes, because in final stage of enlightenment, when this Mahavira is doing this vihara and doing this teaching of this enlightenment, there are some obstacles are coming on the way, and his cloth is cling to that obstacles of the tree. But he said, okay, I don't want to cling anything. The clinginess is the source of all my misery. So I don't want to cling to that cloth. I don't want to go back and see where it is there, and I want that. I don't want that cloth also. If that is not with me, it's not with me. Just be with the flow. Just be with the flow. So natural way of going without any cleanliness, any dependency, and only focusing on this path of jina. They are Murti Pujaka and there are non-Murti Pujaka in the same Digambara. So the follower of idols and non-followers idol. But main two sets of Digambaras and Shvetambaras, this they call as a Muni, who are doing this teaching of Jainas. So Digambara, Visapantha, Tirapantha, and Murti Pujaka, Sthanakvasi. So they have this Sthanakvasi, they have specific sthana, space, and there are some mix. So Digambara and Shvetambara are the two sets of Jainism. Three path to liberation. So right faith, rational vision, right knowledge, samyak jnana, right conduct, samyak charitra, rational lifestyle. And all three together will help attain the liberation. So only three gems, the same that we have learned in Buddhism, same three types of gems, if we are taking into consideration on path of liberation. Right faith is samyak darshana, samyak jnana, samyak charitra. Samyak Charitra, Samyak Jnana, and Samyak Darshana. So Darshana, Jnana, Charitra, three practices. Darshana basically means right faith on something. Jnana means right knowledge. Jainism has a major place of knowledge in its own religion. Charitra means right conduct. Right conduct is ahimsa, asteya, brahmacharya. Fundamental elements of reality. 7 fundamental tattvas we are going to find in Jain philosophy. Same in Nyaya, Vaiseshika, we have 24, we have 16, we have different forms of realities when someone is looking into this universe. So in Jainas, these are 7 fundamental tattvas. First is called as a soul, as a jiva. Then we have this non-soul, ajiva. Then we have this influence of karmas, ashrava. This ashrava is there. Then we have this bondage, bandha. Then samvara, stoppage. How I can stop this chain? And nirjala, this gradual disassociations of karmas. And at the end, we have this moksha. So this is 7 fundamental pillars or tattvas of Jaina philosophies. Karmas. So karma is also natural moral law of universe. The Jainism is also believing in law of karma, in which every good or bad action has a corresponding effect on the persons doing the actions. According to Jain, there are 2 types of karma: the ghati, destructive, and aghati, each contracting several subcategories. The goal of Jainism to liberate one's soul to become a jina. To become a jina, one must escape this karma by leading an aesthetic and intrinsically very purest form of life. So mechanism that determine quality of life happening during being's present life, result of the moral quality and action, and in a previous life. So soul can only achieve liberation by getting rid of all these karmas. So karma is a physical substance, thing, floating dust which stick to soul. So, or as a type of atomic particle which are attracted to the soul as a result of our action, word, and so these are some separated instance, and they are going to come together and stick to this jivas, and we can unstick that things by doing some moral conducts. So that is their understanding about karma. So we attract karma particles when we do or think or say thing, if we kill something, when we tell a lie, when we steal, and the accumulation of karma causes us to have bad thought and action, then the cycle continues. So avoiding and removing karma. First, behaving well, so no karma is attract, and by having the right mental state all the time, so you will be without any karma effect. So karma and reincarnation, impurities of soul that keep the soul bound to the cycle of rebirth into matter, and karma is built up through actions in the world, thoughts, words, deeds, and attitudes. And this reduce and eliminate karma is achieve moksha or nirvana. That is reincarnations. They are also believing in so ekendriya jiva, dvi-indriya, tri-indriya, chaturindriya, panchindriya. That way different jivas and perceptions and the sense is all this understanding of Jainism, what this jiva is all about, ethics. So we know the 5 principles of living, this vow, ahimsa, satya, aste, brahmacharya, parigraha is their 5 principle of Jainism. So Jainism is a religion and a way of life. Jaina have 5 core practices that derive from anuvrata. Anuvrata is lesser vow, that is very lay people can also take into another is mahavrata, that great vows monks and nuns take. So anuvrat and mahavrata. So these are anuvratas: ahimsa, aparigraha, asteya, satya, and brahmacharya. Practice and rituals. So they have this key practice and rituals. They have meditation, samayika. So they do this samayika. They have these mantras. They have worship place, and they do lots of fasting, purifications, holy days. And they have this mantra, Amo, Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vachayanam, Namo Loe Savvasahunam. Everyone, we bow down and meditate on that who are enlightened one on the path of enlightenment is called as a Navakara mantra. Navakara mantra. Namo Arihantana, I bow down to that Arihanta. Namo Siddhana, bow down to that Siddha. Namo Ayariyanam, bow down to Acharya, bow down to Upadhyaya, bow down to sadhus and all these sadhvis and these 5 Panch Namoka, 5 bowing downs and destroy all the sins among all that auspicious. Padma, Havi, Mangalam, this Navkar mantra is foremost. This Nava, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 mantras they call as a central mantra of Jainism, Navkar mantra. And key practice, they do puja, samayika, and Navkara mantra. So prayers is also not a focus on God, but it's more qualities of that Tirthankaras and reminding their central teaching. It is their rituals and prayers are there. This Samayika, they do these meditations, Kaya Utsurga, and all other teachings of meditation. And Santhara, they do this vow, gradually reducing the intake of foods. And these are their coming with a god and a holy one. Jaina commune with their deities by worshipping temples, meditating, and they have workshop idol of Jinas, that are spiritual victors, or called as a Tirthankara. So they do this worship of Jinas. Anika or Anantavada. Self or no self. Always we are asking all the Darshana, is there is Atma, there is a self. That Charvaka said, okay, this is only Jiva, or this is only material, physical body. Is that when we are asking Buddhism, they said there is self and no self. There is no non-self. So there will be no self. They are not believer of Atma, Anatta. So there are 3 Arya Satya they are putting as Anatta, Anicca. So there is no Atma. So now let's see what this Jainism, they are talking about self or they are talking about non-self. So Anekantavada, non-absolutism. So they are believer of non-absolute truth. Existence is always relative or non-absolute. So truth is expressed in many ways. One cannot make a definite statement about truth or existence. Each statement is true in its own limited sense. So to understand the nature of existence, one requires the vision of seeing any entity from all the direction. So aneka tantavad. So soul exists in contamination with karmic matter and is longs to be purified. So living beings differ due to the varying this different kind of karmic matter. So this karmic bondage lead the souls through the state of this existence, this cycle of birth and death. And karmic fusion is due to our ignorance, non-resistance, carelessness, and passion. So violence and austerities is giving us this, what we call this, a cycle of birth and death. So these are doctrines of Jainism. One, Anekantavad, the doctrine of manifold nature of same existence or reality, but it has manifoldation. Syadvad is also very unique doctrine of Jainism, the theory of conditioned prediction. And third is Nyayavada, theory of partial standpoint, Nyayavada. And Three Ratna, three gems, the same that we have learned in Buddhism, we have this in Jainism. So Nyayavada, Three Ratna, and Pancha Mahavrata. Anuvrata and Mahavrata. So these are foundations of Jainism. Anekantavad, according to doctrine, object have infinite mode of existence and quality, so they cannot be completely grasped in all the aspect and manifestation by this finite human perception. Only the Kevalas, the omniscient being, can comprehend this object in all aspect and manifestation. So others are capable of only partial knowledge. So Anekantavad is literally the doctrine of non-one-sidedness or manifoldness, that is often translated non-absolutism. Syadvada is, according to this doctrine, all judgments are again conditioned, holding good only in certain condition, but other circumstances not. So its reality is complex. No single proposition can express the nature of reality fully. Thus the term called as a Syata. Maybe that will be reality. Someone say, what is reality? What is Atma? What is Chiva? Maybe this is final data, but we should use it as Syata, because we as a limited identity, we cannot achieve that fullness of everything. We can only see part, like we are sitting in front of elephant, so we can only see one part of that elephant. Another is on another part of that elephant. So everyone in their own way, they are seeing this reality of this universe, but only part. Only that fully enlightened one can only see this reality fully. We as a limited human being, we can use this as Syata. Maybe because this is my limited ability to understanding. So that is the also doctrine and the philosophy of Jainism. Nyayavad is a theory of partial standpoint or this viewpoint. The doctrine of Nyaya can be understood as partially true statement. So same Syadvada, we said, okay, maybe. And here said, okay, this is my reality, but Nyayavad is like partial statement. So that not absolute, but my relative truth. Okay, I'm telling that, okay, you should follow this path. If you choose this profession, you can be successful. But this is my standpoint. That is not absolute that, okay, I have walked on that path. If everyone is walk on that path, everyone is going to be enlightened. Everyone is going to be successful. That is my truth. That is my Naya. Your Naya will be different. So this both Syadvada and Nyayavada is very, make you as a so openness. At the same vein, you will not have that ahankar, oh, I am successful and I can teach everyone how to become successful. I will be motivational speaker and inspirator. That is your path. You become successful in one way. Another will become successful in their another way. You don't worry about. So Nyayavada is also very unique philosophy of Jainism. And three Ratna, three jewels of Chinese ethics are right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. That Samyak Darshana, Samyak Jnana, and Samyak Charitra. Three jewel literature. And we have lots of Jain Agam literature, scriptures, Angagama and Angyabhya, and all this so huge literature you can able to see. All are Agamas based on Mahavira's teachings, orally compiled by his disciple into various sutras. And orally is being passed from teachers to teachers, Acharya to Acharya. Siddhanta, Jain scripture is the great scriptures. If someone wants to read, it's called as the Siddhanta Sutras. It's 45 volumes are there, and 1000 years between death of Mahavira. Anga, 11 Angas, Book of Conduct, Book of Critics. Then Upanga, secondary limbs is there. Other important writing biography of all these Kalpa Sutras, that is Tirthankara, numerous commentaries and philosophy, astronomy, devotional poetries, and lots of Agam and non-Agam literature you can able to see in Jain philosophy. And final thing is like these symbolisms, that they are using these symbols and how you can able to see and visualize and understand your path of life and liberation. So these different symbols you are going to see in each Jainism, symbols of a seventh Tirthankara, wheel on a palm of this hand, or Tirthankara, three jewels that we have seen. So all these symbols you are going to see in Jainism. So sign of Jainism, this is a sign of Jainism. If someone is showing this symbol, this is called as a Jainism. Each part of the sign symbolizes an important principle or belief system of Jainism. This symbol was adopted by all the sects of Jainism in honor of 2500th anniversary of Lord Mahavira's spiritual liberation. So symbol of Jainism, swastika and the open palm. You can see there are two things. One that is outer reality, outer box, and there are swastika symbol and this open palm. The outline of this picture represents the universe in the Jain description. This outline is what this universe is all about. It is supposed to resemble a person standing on his feet with his feet apart and the arms are rested on the hips. If you are just seeing this as a Arihanta, this is outline pictures. And the swastika, this represents the soul in which it can be reborn and reincarnate into during the time it is in this universe. And there are three dots. There are three, 1, 2, and 3 dots. Above the swastika, they represent right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. Three gems. The three dots are the three jewels of Jain philosophy in which they believe liberation can be found by taking care of refuge in these three gems. The half moon is where this half moon, when you are going to the top of this symbol, is liberated soul is being kept, and the dot inside of it is the liberated pure soul. And the hand below the swastika, this hand is a gesture of blessing, abhaya, protection. Inside the hand, there is a wheel of 24 spokes, and this represents all these 24 jinas or tirthankara. In the middle of the wheel, a word is inscribed which says ahimsa, ahimsa paramo dharma. So this is symbol of Jainism. So this palm signifies assurance, wheel of dharma, 24 spokes, 24 tirthankara, digit of moon, the region of this liberated soul. Three dots that we are going to see is right percept, faith, right knowledge, right conduct, and overall meaning. After removing all of their karma, living being will reside in the world of this liberated soul that is shown above. So this is symbol, right faith, these three dots, this swastika, Manushya Loka, Apvada, this in the right side, this is Deva Loka, this the Tiryacha, and the fourth is Narka. So this is meaning of swastika, ahimsa, hand, mutual support, paraspar upagraho jivana, and teaching of 24 Tirthankara. This is central teaching of Jainism, and this is the main foundation. Outside the Siddha Shila, or the above of wisdoms and build, this Urdhva Loka and celestial religions, and Akashas and Aloka and Kesha, this is Adho and other Lokas, and this is in middle. So that is total symbolism of this Jainism. These three teachings and 4 dots of heaven and humans and animal and hell, and 4 states the soul may live in. And these are right faith and right knowledge, and these are called as a Siddhaloka. So these are Siddhas. These are right faith, knowledge, and conduct. This is Manushya Loka, human being, heavenly being. and this is Tiryaka, like animals, planet, and etc. And this is hell, and this is what we call Abhayam, Ahimsa, hand, and teaching of these 24 Tirthankaras, Paraspar Upagraho Jivanam, mutual support and interdependency. So this is Jainism, and the uh, differences between Buddhism, Jainism, and how they are different. The main fundamental is right faith, right knowledge, right conduct together constitute the path of liberation. Belief in realities, they are right faith, and right faith is attained by intuitions or by acquiring this knowledge. Living and this non-living substance influence bondage from these karmas, and the realities, right faith, are installed by name, representation, and substance. This is our final Jain darshanas. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om.